What is up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Bit different because it was going to be in a late recording. I wanted to wait until the Game Awards were done, and then I could go through and make sure I had everything in line so we can go over the entire 3.5 hour show, but a bit faster. Yeah, just like a bite-sized section so you can at least see everything that was announced. And that's the plan today. So I said, Evan, you know what? Don't worry about it. Late recording. I got it. So we're recording from the office, but there was a lot that was announced, a lot of games really for 2026 and 2027. And yes, some really exciting stuff as well. So we'll look at everything that was announced here today. We're also going to be talking about a couple of other stories, which we'll move over to now. So if you guys enjoy the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let's take a look. This is over on Gamatsu with South of Midnight. Some stuff just kind of got announced randomly as things were happening, and it seemed like it was coming mostly from Xbox, actually. South of Midnight is coming to PS5 and Switch 2 in spring 2026. Seemed like something they just kind of threw out there, Compulsion did, on social media. So, hey, South of Midnight, going to Switch 2 and PlayStation 5 next year. They said spring 2026. And since the game, it did come out April 8th, as is mentioned here by Gamatsu, I would assume that this is a game that will then follow to PS5 and Switch 2 probably at least a year after. So anytime after April 8th, I assume is fair game in that case. And this is a game that definitely flew under the radar, I'd say completely. It launched in the Game Pass, and it was just kind of an okay game if you look at reviews and stuff. But this has been Microsoft's strategy the entire way, is they'll release stuff as we see on Xbox and PC, and then eventually as they are able to get it over to PlayStation 5 and Switch 2, according to them, case-by-case basis. But I think South of Midnight could certainly benefit from just being on more platforms. So we'll keep an eye out for when they're ready to share exactly like the date and any other launch details there. The other thing actually has to do with a showcase, another event to look forward to. This is a developer direct showcase for January. And this was another strange one because they released, it seemed like, an interview with Variety from Matt Booty, where he talks about this showcase. Again, all this happening as we're building up, like an hour, I think, away from the Game Awards airing. And he does talk about who we can expect there. He says, I can't share exactly what's there, but we've got a lot of stuff that we're shipping next year. In fact, usually Dev Direct is about highlighting what's coming up for the year ahead. This year, we've got more stuff coming up than we can fit in one show. So I will tell you that Playground Games, developer behind Fable and Forza Horizon 6 games, is going to be in the Dev Direct, but we'll have more stuff next year to ship that we can fit into one Dev Direct show in January, so which is a good place to be. So the thing with that is Playground Games could show up with either of them. I've been trying to place Microsoft's year in 2026 because it is indeed a big year. It's also the 25th anniversary for the Xbox brand. How much does that mean to Microsoft anymore? It's hard to say, but Halo Campaign Evolved does make a lot of sense to set that up to come out in November alongside of that anniversary when the original Xbox launched. Kind of a shame because it seems like it's going to end up, we think right now, next to GTA 6. I say we think right now because who knows? That could be delayed even into 2027 at this point. But still, seeing Playground Games potentially release two big games, Fable and Forza Horizon 6, in 1 year, I mean, that's big time for the studio there. And I guess I had to go in order. I figure Fable comes out first and then Forza Horizon 6, mostly because the idea was Fable was going to come out in 2025, and now it's fallen into next year's. Who knows? Well, I guess we'll learn maybe at this developer direct in January exactly what the release order is here for Playground Games. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the big event, the big show that happened last night. It started at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and it ran all the way until 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So with the pre-show included, it was indeed 3.5 hours long, and kind of felt it too. That's the thing. Jeff Keighley, he wants to have a long show like this, a big event. And no matter what, you look at the games that are shown, it's not everyone is going to hit with every person. So there's going to be downtime depending on what's being shown, what the big reveals are. And I'll kind of talk about my overall thoughts and where I would grade this show as, well, we did have an entire poll about that last night as well. So let's start here at the top with the pre-show. It ran for 30 minutes, and they did start by showing off a game called The Free Shepherd that is coming to PlayStation 5 and PC in 2027. Then we have Decrepit, that's on PC. Audio Mech, there's a demo out today. We have Pragmata that showed up in the pre-show, as they did give us April 24th is when it's coming out. There is a demo out today, like right now, and it seemed like they were saying it was Steam only, so I guess we'll see as that rolls out and everything. And then it's also coming to Switch 2. That was like the big thing. Hey, we are going to work the Switch 2 into this release. And that's the thing, Capcom has been they've been pretty big about this now with Requiem. Remember Resident Evil Requiem, which we'll also be talking about here later on in the show, that had the Switch 2 logo added to it as we got closer to its release in February. And now they're doing the same thing here with the Pragmata with the Switch 2. And there's also apparently going to be an amiibo, a lot of information flying around right now. So that is that's interesting to see Capcom really getting on board with the Switch 2 for their big titles, not even just some of their smaller quote unquote AA kind of titles. No, they're going big right now with AAA games from their studio going directly onto the Switch 2 day and date. So the big moves from Capcom here. Bradley the Badger, and this is from David Solanini, who is the director for Mario Rabbids. Okay, so I saw this pop up, and it was a very strange trailer that I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is, but it describes itself as a parody of gaming just about, and it's in like tongue-in-cheek playful fashion. It's not absolutely roasting like gaming completely, but it's sort of having fun, and it's a 3D action platformer with a badger. Then they showed a part where it was in reality with real people. So I don't really know what this is. It's interesting enough, at least, to keep an eye on because it looks different from anything else we've seen. And that's half the struggle, is just trying to stand out. This one certainly did. And then we had Stupid Never Dies. This kind of reminded me of the movie Warm Bodies, where you have a zombie who is aware and falls in love, and it's a whole thing. So that's sort of what this looked like at first. And then it turned into a 3D action adventure where you're just beating up enemies as a zombie. So 2026 on that one. That was the end of the pre-show, and then we rolled into the main show, and they started off with a bang. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, a single-player RPG in the Old Republic era. Now, people are already looking at this as KOTOR 3, and that's kind of where we are with it at this time, but they did say that Casey Hudson will be leading development. People know them, of course, from Mass Effect series, KOTOR, and hey, their last game, Anthem. Maybe redemption here, I guess. That with Argonaut Studios. So no word on when this game is coming out. It seems like it's in pretty early development at this point. They did have a cinematic trailer that I thought looked awesome. I mean, really, of course, they have the lightsaber going off with the iconic sound, and that got the crowd pretty hyped. And you could kind of the crowd would respond based on the trailer. They kept that audio on. The lightsaber got a response, as it should, with these Star Wars games. So I am very excited to have, I mean, we've kind of gone through it with the Knights of the Old Republic remake, that having a lot of issues. So it's really fun to have now a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic RPG to look forward to from, well, a developer here, a lead that should know what they're doing with the franchise. Then we did have Divinity, the CGI trailer. It got a lot of pushback online because it is quite violent, very graphic, but we now know that the statue is, yes, part of the Divinity series. It's a continuation with this game. They didn't show any kind of gameplay or anything. It just relied on that cinematic trailer to kind of set the tone, and it looks weird, so it seems like that's what they're getting at. Need to see more about this one, though. We had 4 Loop. That's the Bad Robots game, 4-player PvE, creator of Left 4 Dead, PlayStation 5, and PC. Coven of the Chicken Foot. So this is from Wildflower Interactive. I was very curious as to what they had, as the lead there is known for things like The Last of Us, and I see this, and I don't really know what to take away from it. It looks like a puzzle companion game. You play as an old lady who's guiding this large creature around, and it looks different. Maybe, again, that's half the battle. So maybe that's the move. Then we had Ontos. It's a sci-fi mystery game, spiritual successor to Soma. That's 2026. We have Resident Evil Requiem. Now they showed Victor Gideon, person of interest, and then they immediately went over to Leon Kennedy, who is a playable character. Grace and Leon, their story will be intertwining. Leon being more action oriented, Grace being maybe more puzzle or just scared of everything. Right, much more inexperienced compared to Leon, and that makes sense. So. I like Leon's looked. It was great. Some of the leaked concept art and blurry images were concerning people, but this looks like what I would expect Leon to be. So awesome. Really, really good stuff there. We had the Xbox Game Pass ad, and this kind of got mixed in with some of the commercials that we're playing. And part of that, it did show that Gears of War E-Day is coming 2026. And then we had the Xbox social media account also put that out there, Emergence Day 2026. So just more reconfirmation as we were expecting this game out for the 25th anniversary year for Xbox, looking like they're setting up that stacked 2026 year. Order of the Sinking Star, as the creators of Braid, there's more than 1,000 puzzles. It's out in 2026. Exodus, we've seen this before, but now we have a space sci-fi action adventure. They show gameplay for it. I gotta admit, I got a little bit of a reminder of Mass Effect, just kind of maybe as the perspective of it, some of the gameplay for it, but it's early 2027. Warlock Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, so gameplay reveal summer 2026, launch in 2027. Control Resonant. So this is a new game in the Remedy universe, but just a new Control game here. Action game, and it looks like if psychic powers and just a weird, almost Inception look, as expected for Remedy and Control. 2026 though, so Remedy is kind of rolling right now. We're figuring, they have the Max Payne stuff that's coming out, we figure soon, but then here comes Control 2. So hey, really cool stuff there for fans of Remedy and the Control franchise. Gang of Dragon, this is from Negoshi's studio. His new game is the Yakuza creator, and it's what it looks like more Yakuza technically. So we'll have to see more about that one, but definitely is taking on the tone that you would expect his new studio to be tackling here. Street Fighter, the movie, they had a first look trail. I don't know what to take away from this movie. I am just at this time expecting a fun popcorn flick. Doesn't look like they're taking it seriously. They have all the cast come out on stage. Even they're joking about stuff. So I don't know. I guess it's going to be kind of a fourth wall breaking movie. I guess it's in theaters 2026. So it's probably, I assume, a step up from the old Street Fighter. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. We got the release date May 29th, 2026. It looks great. It does. And they even had the want to see a magic trick scene referenced in there for the Joker. Is that should play out nicely with Legos. So I'm picking this one up day one. It looks great. I think I could have some fun playing through it with some of the kids. We then moved over to 2 Tomb Raider games, as we were kind of thinking with some of the leaks that got out there. So they started with Tomb Raider Catalyst. That's just a brand new Tomb Raider game in 2027. We've been hearing about this thing in development at Crystal Dynamics for quite some time now. So good to see they got the title, and now we're off and running for that. But along the way, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. So there are 2 Tomb Raider games that will be coming out over the next couple of years. Legacy of Atlantis is a remake of the first Tomb Raider game, and that first game kind of needs it. I mean, look, the movement, the controls, they just don't really translate over now to the, you could say, modern audience, but just the audience from the last 15 years, really. I mean, it's kind of rough playing those games now, going back to it without the more modernized controls that we've grown accustomed to over the last several years. Forest 3 was then shown. Invincible Versus introduces Elemental as a new character coming April 30th, 2026. Orbitals. This is a co-op space adventure. It's a Switch 2 exclusive, and it has this retro anime aesthetic. I've been playing Split Fiction recently with one of the kids, and it's been a blast. So I don't know if it'll be on that level necessarily, because Split Fiction is legitimately blowing me away. I've been waiting until I get to the point where I can play the game with someone, and one of the kids got a bit older now, and they've been able to, with dexterity and figuring out gameplay and stuff, been able to come to terms with the dual analog stick setup and stuff. And I'm having a blast with Split Fiction. So I am becoming a bit more aware and interested in some of these co-op experiences like this, and this might be right up our alley for that one. We'll see. Anyway, it's coming out in 2026, so keep an eye out for it next year. Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred. I'm not really big into Diablo, but I will give Blizzard credit. They are really good. They're still top tier. I know this has been ongoing forever. Still top tier in the cinematics department. April 28th, 2026 for that one. Marvel Rivals is adding Deadpool. That's January 16th, 2026. 007 First Light got another look, and I feel like we've seen this game a lot, but Lenny Kravitz is in the game, and they're playing Bulma, so it seems like the big antagonist, I guess. Hogwarts Legacy, that's free right now on the Epic Game Store until December 18th, so go ahead and claim it. Yes, you have to download Epic Game Store. Sorry. Then we have Lords of the Fallen 2 with gameplay that is coming out 2026. Saros. All right, so they showed gameplay, and it was like, okay, this looks great, as expected. Then they showed the release date. All of a sudden, it's moved from March to April 30th. So a bit of a quiet delay there for Saros. So you have to wait a bit longer on that one. Then we saw No Law, and it's a cyberpunk first-person action shooter, creators of The Ascent, and always like a good straight-up kick for, like his boot kick. They showed it a couple of times. I don't know, something about it's hilarious because you'll send an enemy just flying. Total War Warhammer 40K was shown. Then, out of nowhere, Ace Combat 8 Wings of the Eve. Wow. So I do like the Ace Combat games. Yes, we are up to 8 now, which is crazy to think about. This one, though, caught my attention because it seemed to have more of a narrative focus than I remember for the franchise. And I'm very interested in this. 2026, though, so Bandai Namco, bit of a shock reveal there. Awesome stuff. Star Wars Galactic Racer, it's a Fuse game, and they're a studio that was created from developers who were at Criterion. So think about Need for Speed or Burnout. There's a little bit of that in there with some of the different vehicles crashing in and exploding. Not a full-fledged pod racing game necessarily. There are a bunch of other vehicles. Wouldn't surprise me, though, of course, if there were pod racers you could pick from as well. Kind of just a random mixed bag, I assume, of different vehicles in the Star Wars universe. Then we have Out of Words. It's a stop-motion co-op game that's coming out in 2026. Phantom Blade Zero. We got the release date, September 9th, 2026. It still looks really good. I'm looking forward to it. The Unreal Engine 5 games are kind of blending together a bit. This one, though, I think looks more unique because the animations and the choreography, which looks top-notch. But then also some of the enemy types, specifically the bosses, seem like they are very unique and have different mechanics that keep them very interesting. Then, the big reveal, Jeff, rightly so, got the orchestra warmed up for this one. Mega Man Dual Override. Yes, a new Mega Man game. Capcom making some moves here. Pragmata went on social media afterwards, said, hey, we were trying to tell you guys, we're not a Mega Man game because there's been one in development, at least for the last couple of years, because it's coming out in 2027. So that does feel like a couple of years ago, they went, oh yeah, we do have Mega Man. Let's make a game. So now we're looking at a couple of years from now. However, it does make sense because 2027 is the 40th anniversary for the Mega Man brand, and it seems that this is going to be one of the big releases for it. There's some teasing that there's some other stuff, as you kind of expect. They like their collections. Mega Man Legends Collection. But either way, Mega Man Dual Override looks like what I would expect a new Mega Man game to be, where it's still kind of playing off of the Mega Man 11 art style, and I mean, it's about right. And so I'm saying that because I would like to see Mega Man X, as that's where they could really do something cool with the art style, I feel like. But this looks awesome. Very much so looking forward to it. Kind of a bummer, again, I have to wait till 2027. But all according to plan, right, with Capcom. Just gonna, that delayed gratification for getting to the anniversary, where I'm sure there'll be a blowout of all kinds of cool stuff happening. And then Jeff closed out the show with a game called High Guard. It's a PvP raid shooter from the developers behind Apex Legends, Titanfall 2, mixture of guns and fantasy, medieval themes, and so you have shotguns and axes and hammers and horseback riding. This is a weird one to close out with, a live service game, free to play, January 26, 2026. That seemed to be the big selling factor on this as why it's closing out. It's like, hey, the developers who have made other popular multiplayer games, and then it's out in 6 weeks. It's like, oh, I guess that's cool. You're not going to show us Elder Scrolls 18 years before it comes out or something. So I guess there's that. So if you're looking forward, I guess, or looking for, I should say, a new multiplayer game, hey, this one is, it's on tap and it's free to play. So that's a big closeout. Player Obscure Expedition 33 did win Game of the Year. They won a lot of awards. They didn't sweep necessarily, because they did lose audio design, I believe is what it was, to Battlefield 6. But for the most part, every time they had an award where someone would go up on stage to accept the trophy and stuff, and Expedition 33 was named, they seemed to win it. And it got to the point where they're trying to hold all the trophies, and then everyone in the crowd's kind of giving them the side eye of, they won again, really? But hey, it was a good game. It was the favorite. I think a lot of people expected this to happen, and it did. So Clair Obscur Expedition 33, the runaway success, the runaway winner of 2025. But that was the awards show. Again, it was 3.5 hours long, including the pre-show, and it certainly felt it. But let's see what everyone thought about in that poll, which we can see it here. I asked, give the Game Awards a grade. B was 44% of 9,500 votes. I also want to give a shout out to people who came in and voted very quickly. I had to just kind of do this right away after the show ended so that I could roll into reactions and doing the whole roundup for this thing. And that's kind of where I am. I'm at a B. It's just, it just feels like it goes on very, very long. The closeout was not great because the idea of the closeout, and I guess they couldn't close out on Mega Man because Capcom didn't have a ton to show and it's not out to 2027. I get all that. But the end announcement, the closeout is more about the hype factor behind it because it's sort of that send everyone home happy kind of thing. So I do think you could have put the new KOTOR at the end and that would have worked. But who knows? Maybe Highguard legitimately just had the bag for Jeff, and they're like, hey, we're going to put this at the end of it if that's cool. And he said, sure, let's do it. But otherwise, though, I think there were some good announcements here, some good reveals, and there were enough of them, along with Mega Man, for me to look at B and go, yeah, I think that's the one. If they had a couple of other big time, if Half-Life 3 was here, would we all have to give it an A? Like, think about everything that was there now, and then Half-Life 3. I kind of feel like a lot of people would go, man, he actually got it. I got to give him the A. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Ubermutt, who says, was super cool seeing you in the GameStop Awards. Yeah, so for those of you who are unaware, I did the GameStop Award for Best Xbox Game in 2025. So you can check out the awards there, and I'm sure you can take a guess as to who won that one. The nominees, I think, were a bit more interesting, maybe a little different than what some would expect. But it was a fun show, and so Scott the Woz put that all together. Like, he organized it. He contacted me about it, and I was like, "Yeah, we'll do the Xbox one. That sounds good to me." But it was a well done show, as GameStop just kind of ran that on. Just I saw it on X, just different social media accounts. They just kind of live streamed it, and they cut up the clips and posted them on their account. So yes, if you want to see me on GameStop presenting the award for Best Xbox Game, you can do so. It's there now. So drop them a comment and stuff and say hi. It's over there on their account. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed yesterday's Newswave, I'll leave it up here in a card. Or maybe you want to check out my immediate reaction to the Game Awards after it concluded. I posted it late last night, so I'll leave that in a video right below it. Thanks, guys, for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for Newswave.